Somebody put together this. I'm going to play this video. I'm going to try to play it through all the way without stopping. And then we'll play
There's no way.
I know. Then we'll try to, I'll come back and then we'll start and stop it and make fun of it. Because you can't, anyway, let's just watch it. Here we go.
Would a second Donald Trump term look like?
Well, he cannot be the next president because if he is...
You can't imagine the things that he's going to do. Mexico, Canada. We can't go to Canada because eventually Canada will become annexed to America.
And shoot visitors to the White House. Yeah, that means he can shoot the First Lady.
We're going to see violence, the likes of which we didn't even see on January 6th.
Make it illegal to run against him, to throw his opponents in jail, to shut down the media.
He will make himself into the Fuhrer, and he will make everybody raise their hand and salute him.
Using martial law against the American people.
Terminate the Constitution.
Rewrite the Constitution.
Create mass internment camps.
Throw everyone into Gitmo.
Might be sent to jail, or their rights might be suppressed, especially minority groups in society.
You might have any number of things happen to you and your family.
Every one of us, our freedom, our liberty, none of us is safe.
It's going to have people around him executing against an enemy's list.
Assassinate generals.
Ordering troops to attack American citizens.
Trump's very well armed and extremist base will try to kill people.
He's going to basically burn the house down.
He will unravel the institutions of our democracy.
Draw similarities between Mussolini and Hitler.
Adolf Hitler and Benito Mussolini.
Makes Donald Trump even more dangerous.
Wants to take away your vote. Senate and the House are immediately going to be paralyzed.
People will begin in their minds to censor themselves. They might say, well, maybe I shouldn't say this.
This is the end of democracy.
I think that could be the end of our democracy.
But democracy is dead if Trump is reelected.
Cozy up to Putin that democracy will be at risk.
The absolute destruction of the Justice Department as we know it.
The Justice Department could be entirely transformed.
I am really concerned about that.
Every person who was associated with the attempted coup elevated in the administration.
If he's reelected, he will curb transgender rights.
The end of the rule of law.
Arrest political opponents.
To persecute, not prosecute, but persecute his enemies.
Take a wrecking ball to the rule of law.
He's going to make the law. Everyone else will have to follow.
A vote for Donald Trump may mean the last election that you ever get to vote in.
To go after the independent and free parts of American civic life.
He would tear down our institutions. Purge the government of employees.
Department by department effort to weaponize the powers of the government.
To use the military to quash protests.
Ridding the government of all democratic safeguards.
Junking American democracy as we have always known it.
That he would try to stay in office beyond a second term. That he would never leave office.
There's no question.
Trump is reelected, he won't leave.
Donald Trump will never leave office voluntarily.
And what that means is that everybody who wants us to remain a republic has to put every other thing aside and together urgently right now to stop that from happening.
Wow, that's like the modern day reefer madness, right? It's going to cost.
We have one move.
What's that?
We have one move, reefer madness, for every single topic.
That's it. All right, so let's watch it now. We'll stop and start it, and we'll talk about it. Because just think how scary this would be if we actually lived in a democracy. Anyway.
Would a second Donald Trump term look like?
Well, he cannot be the next president.
And she should know her dad runs the entire deep state from his underground lair. Okay.
Because if he is...
You can't imagine the things that he's going to do. Mexico, Canada. We can't go to Canada because eventually Canada will become annexed to America.
Wait a minute. Wouldn't that make it easier to go to Canada? Is he just going to annex Mar-a-Lago to Canada? Like, they give him these superpowers that he couldn't fucking do anything in his first term, but he's gonna turn into Batman, Superman, and Aquaman and have all these powers. All right, here we go.
Shoot visitors to the White House. Yeah, that means he can shoot the First Lady.
And you know Bill Clinton's going, fuck, I didn't know I could have done that. And by the way, I'm all for having David Frum deported back to Canada. Okay.
We're going to see violence the likes of which we didn't.
By the way, if he does shoot the First Lady, will the First Lady have to apologize to him, just like the guy that Dick Cheney shot in the face? Remember that? Dick Cheney shot his friend in the face. Then his friend apologized. Sorry, you shot me in the face.
Sorry, get in front of your bullets.
My face does look like a quail.
You know what, Jimmy? I think it's weird that she poses to look like the poster beside her.
That's so weird.
All right. I know you don't know this reference, but that looks like Miranda Sings on YouTube.
Do not know that reference.
Well, give it a goog.
Even see.
So I like how she does this thing with her lips at the end to like let you know she even she thinks she's bullshitting. Watch this.
That's what Miranda Sings does.
Oh, really? Okay, here we go.
The likes of which we didn't even see on January 6th.
Wah, wah.
She's just missing a ukulele. That's the only thing she's missing.
We're gonna see violence like we didn't even see on January 6th. You mean more FBI agents are gonna be violent than they were on January 6th?
It illegal to run against him, to throw his opponents in jail, to shut down the media.
He will make himself into the Fuhrer, and he will make everybody raise their hand and salute him.
Using martial law against the American people.
Terminate the Constitution.
To rewrite the Constitution.
What's he gonna do? Add more free speech and gun rights? What do you? Okay, here we go.
Create mass internment camps.
Throw everyone into Gitmo.
Everyone? Will everyone fit into Gitmo? Everyone.
Gitmo, that sounds like one of those gremlins, right? Is that what the thing was called, Gitmo?
Isn't it funny, Sam, that nobody goes, oh yeah, that's right, we're running Gitmo. We're running a torture facility in someone else's country. Like, that's not fucked up.
It lasted longer than Radio Shack.
Like, everybody at MSNBC's okay. Oh, Gitmo? Oh, yeah, we love Gitmo.
Wasn't Obama going to shut that down?
He said he was going to shut it down.
And never did?
No.
Hey, he was going to protect Roe v. Wade, too. A lot of stuff.
He's going to give us all health care, too. Remember that? He's going to give us health care and rein in the banks and make it every blah, blah, blah. And there you go.
Sent to jail, or their rights might be suppressed, especially minority groups in society.
You might have any number of things.
You know, the irony is Donald Trump, for all the stuff they call him as he was the one who let black people out of prison with the STEP Act, right? So that's just, I don't know, that's not funny, but it's just ironic that Joe Biden is the reason why black and brown people are locked up at much higher rates than white people are. And Donald Trump actually did something to correct that, and they still make it out like Donald Trump's the fucking asshole, because what else are they going to do? They're not going to actually do anything for people to get them to vote for them. They just have to keep doing this. Okay.
Camille Harris locked up more black people in the state of California than anybody in the history of the state.
Camille?
What's her name?
Kamala.
Okay, Kamala, the Ugandan giant, whatever.
Who's Camille?
But the whole point is that she locked up more people. So, and she hid evidence for a guy that was on death row.
Yeah.
So she knew he was innocent. She let him sit there. So it's like unbelievable to me.
And you know what she said?
What?
What's happened to you and your family?
Every one of us, our freedom, our liberty, none of us is safe. It's going to have people around him executing against an enemy's list.
Assassinate generals.
He's going to assassinate generals. Oh, no, not the generals.
I love them so much.
What a tragedy that would be. By the way, we have way too many generals.
Are you talking about Lloyd Austin, the one who looks like Beetlejuice from the Stern Show?
Yes, I'm talking about that.
A lot of references nobody gets.
Ordering troops to attack American citizens.
Trump's very well-armed and extremist base will try to kill people.
First of all, they weren't well armed on January 6th, right? All they did was show up with their own shit. They were like monkeys at the zoo.
Does he mean Viking horns?
Does he mean pajama bottoms and Viking helmets? Yeah, I think that's what he means.
Going to basically burn the house down.
He will unravel the institutions of our democracy.
Draw similarities between Mussolini and Hitler.
Adolf Hitler and Benito Mussolini.
Makes Donald Trump even more dangerous.
Wants to take away your vote. Senate and the House are immediately going to be paralyzed.
People will begin in their minds to censor themselves. They might say, well, maybe I shouldn't say this.
This is the end of democracy.
I think that could be the end of our democracy.
But democracy is dead if Trump is reelected.
Cozy up to Putin that democracy will be at risk.
The absolute destruction of the Justice Department as we know it.
The Justice Department could be entirely transformed.
I am really concerned about that.
Every person who was associated with the attempted coup elevated in the administration.
If he's reelected, he will curb transgender rights.
The end of the rule of law.
Arrest political opponents.
To persecute, not prosecute, but persecute his enemies.
Like that's exactly what they're doing to him right now, and it doesn't like this. He's going to do a comb over like me. It's like,
I hope he slaps their designer glasses off their face. I've never seen so many designer glasses I wanted to see fly off a face.
They really want to scare us. They keep saying, Joseph Stalin, Benito Mussolini, Adolf Hitler, Saddam. Führer Donald sounds more like a children's book.
And I mean, if they're that scared of Donald Trump, he must really have some shit on them or something, right? And what this really is, it's like, not that Donald Trump, when he gets elected, is going to do anybody any fucking favors, right? It's not.
He's going to do slightly less favors, and we can't have that.
This is like a mob war, really. This is what this is.
It's all organized crime. Trump represents like the New York State real estate crime organization that wants to come into Washington, take over the purse strings, and hand out all the contracts, compared to the George Bush death cult that's been running everything since the assassination of JFK. That's who's been in charge forever. Trump is just another organization. They work together when it helps both of them, and then they go to war when one of their guys wants to get the contract over the other group. That's all it is.
It's one. Yeah, go ahead. It's one evil king taking over for another evil king.
100%.
Come on. Those guys jerk guys off at Yale for nothing. I jerked off all these guys. I'm not even going to get my levers of power. Just I'm going to pull elite dick.
I just like the guy who said that, if Trump gets elected, we're gonna have to start censoring ourselves. Like, as opposed to the government censoring all of us, I'll take the censoring ourselves.
Yeah, as opposed to right now we have Mark Zuckerberg doing it. Isn't that better?
Yeah. I mean, everyone's pissed at TikTok. You're like, okay, I get it. You don't want China spying on you, but how many people have been to China? How many people are going to China? Your own government is using Facebook and Instagram and YouTube to censor you left and right. That should be a way bigger problem for you than some foreign government doing it. Obviously, you don't want anybody doing it.
It's like everything. I've said it before on the show. It's like every accusation they make against Trump is a confession of what the shit that they've been doing. He's gonna persecute his political enemies. He's gonna try to make it so they can't run for office. Yeah, they're gonna use the RICO statute to go get him. I bet you. But anyway.
Wrecking ball to the rule of law. He's going to make the law. Everyone else will have to follow.
A vote for Donald Trump may mean...
How the fuck would he do that? Whenever has the president been able to just make a law and make everybody else follow it? I guess there's no three... I know we have three branches of government, separate and equal. All that shit goes out the window because the game show host became president. Oh, my God.
I think they're implying all the despicable animals that would vote for him are also part of it. He represents all the deplorables at once.
Okay.
Why are we listening to Darth Vader's daughter, by the way? Sitting there telling us about violating the rule of law. I mean, it's like unbelievable. I want to ask her what her dad was doing on 9/11 when he was running there. the air defense system and had literally 100 different simulations going on that day. To the pilots are like, is something really going on? What's happening right now? So I have some questions for you, Lil.
Yeah, her dad ran a goddamn torture program, lied us into and fucking slaughtered 1 million Iraqis, but somehow there's someone worse than her and her fucking father. That's
Last election that you ever get to vote in.
To go after the independent and free parts of American civic life.
He would tear down our institutions. Purge the government of employees.
Department by department effort to weaponize the powers of the government.
To use the military to quash protests.
Ridding the government of all democratic safeguards.
Junking American democracy as we have always known it.
That he would try to stay in office beyond a second term. That he would never leave office.
There's no question.
Trump is reelected, he won't leave.
Donald Trump will never leave office voluntarily.
And what that means is that everybody who wants us to remain a republic has to put every other thing aside and work together urgently right now to stop that from happening.
When I look at Rachel Maddow, I just think about how when my hair used to look like that a few years ago.
By the way, everybody in that video looked like the only people that celebrate Kwanzaa, by the way. That's what they all look like.
Kamala Harris celebrates Kwanzaa. She tweeted it.
All right, so
I don't like Trump, but it does bring me joy that they're all going to be crying in November.
Do you have faith in that, bro? Do you really have faith in that it's going to go that easy? I just, they seem to be pulling every lever they can to make it not happen. I mean,
if it's not crying because he's elected, it'll be they're all crying because there's a civil war. And they're going to be on the losing end of it.
I don't know. Now, does everybody agree with me that the civil war that they say Trump is trying to instigate is actually being instigated by the billionaire class, the donor class?
100%.
They wanted it. They want a civil war. So they'll do anything they can. Just like the cops on January 6th, we now find out that they were throwing flashbangs into the crowd and shooting them with those pepper. And they were trying to incite people like, the fuck is going on?
Or even worse, Jimmy, they were high-fiving everybody as they were storming the Capitol.
Boy, that was, those cops, where'd they get the January 6th cops, right from Uvalde? It was amazing. The cops are really fighting back. It's like, why didn't they just put a bouncy house up inside?
Yeah.
The fucking...
You got the village people to show up and act like cops.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I just think that this regardless of we're all descendants of immigrants. We all had family that came here, but this flooding of the borders seems purposeful and seems like it's being done on purpose to cause complete chaos in 2024, right around election time. And you got people like Gavin Newsom who's gotten rid of. I think California they've completely gotten rid of in-person voting. Like, I think it's you can only do through the mail now, which is like all done. This is why, everyone's always like, oh, these, I know probably not this room, but a lot of people are like, look at these Republican governors are sending all these illegals to these cities, showing these blue mayors who's boss. It's like, I personally think they're all working together and they're moving assets into these giant Democratic cities where they want as much chaos as possible so they can keep New York, keep Chicago, keep Philadelphia voting a certain way for these guys that are just selling us out. That's my
it's 100%. I mean, they had Xi Jinping come to San Francisco and it was the first time the streets were ever clean. They got rid of all the homeless people.
Xi Jinping could find out. Shh.
Is this on TikTok? I
think he bought it. Don't.
So, I mean, the biggest thing is everyone needs to realize that none of this is happening naturally. It is all something called pressure from above, pressure from below.
Climate change, yes, I know.
But you're talking about they're building chaos, having the borders open, everything like that. I'm just so relieved that every time I take a flight, I still take my shoes off.
Right, 100%.
But you know what? They don't do that in Italy.
They don't do
that. You fly to Italy. Jimmy walked through security with a bottle of water. I'm like, oh my God. They go, is this your water? But they said it in Italian or something. Hey, is this your water? I don't know.
We are very much like I think I've seen you say this before, but we're very much like North Korea, but on the opposite end of the spectrum. But we're all completely propagandized.
So here's what The Simpsons said about it. You got to help us, voters. We've tried giving you nothing, and we're all out of ideas.
Same glasses from MSNBC.
Come see us do a live stand-up show. We'll be in Venice, California, Palmdale, California, Omaha, Des Moines, Milwaukee, Lansing, Bend, Oregon, Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington, Boston, Massachusetts, and we're going to Europe. Do you live in Europe? We're going to be there. Go to jimmydore.com for a link for all those tickets.